call to order the March 5th, 2026 Stormwater Management Advisory Commission meeting. This meeting is being recorded by video and audio means. These recordings will be posted on the city's website for public viewing and listening. In-person attendees of the meeting will be included in this recording. By remaining in this meeting, in-person attendees agree that their images and/or voices may be included in these recordings. I don't think we have an excuse.
Melody Whitford is
Melody.
is ill and has requested an excuse action.
The Melody is still on.
She is still officially on the commission until next month. Yes, there was a nomination and approval for a new member to start in April.
Okay, so, but she was under the weather, according to, well, we received an email with.
Yep.
She felt like that. Okay. So, anybody would like to make a motion to excuse her absence? Okay. Seconded, okay, by Suzanne. All in favor of excusing Melody's absence? Okay. We're moved. Minutes for approval. Scott has took those out, our draft minutes from the February 5th meeting. Would like to have a motion and discussion, or just a motion? Motion to approve. Second, any discussion? Nope. All in favor of approving the minutes? Okay. Minutes are approved. Always on time for that. Good now. Public comment. I do not believe anyone has signed up to speak. Okay.
Correct.
Let's see. Planning Commission and SMAC liaison comments. Ben, let's have something.
Yeah, Ben and I met this morning with Dwight and Bynum and had a good conversation. I believe there's 3 cases we're gonna look at, one going to planning and 2 going to council.
One moment. That's not, I'm gonna just take yours, you take mine.
Let's see how this goes.
All right, so yes, so there are, that color comes in characters, I apologize. City Council and Planning Commission, we have 1 case of Planning Commission, which is coming up, it's coming up Tuesday on March 2nd, March 10th. And that's on Trailwood, and then City Council scheduled public hearings for these last 2 rezonings. One is adjacent to the site on Trailwood, and then the other is the South Newton Road that we've talked about a couple times here. Some of the details, so this is the C-3825 off the Trailwood Road, which is in Southwest Raleigh, kind of in between or near David Ferry and Borland. First one on Creek. So this is the site here. It's actually 3 sites or 3 properties coming into rezoning. If you remember, 2 of the sites on the west side of Trailwood, we actually had a lot of discussion about their rezoning back in 2023. Yeah, 2023. And it looks like they're adding this property across the road. I believe this was some sort of density issue, but I'm not certain of that. There wasn't a ton of information online. They did get for this original property a site plan approved before townhomes. And they had actually gone through the site plan and actually had a no rise to impact some of the floodplain, because one of their conditions was about the floodplain to mimic what our soon to be text change was back in 2022. And so they did have a no rise to impact part of the flood fringe here, but they haven't really submitted their old site plan, so we're not sure if they're gonna use the old site plan and piggyback this with it or something like that. Unfortunately, I'll have more information after the planning commission meeting, so I can share more at our April meeting. But planning commission is next Tuesday, like I said, at 9 a.m. If anyone wants to tune in online, either on YouTube or on the television number. But they have new conditions sent to planning as of this morning there, but I have not seen the planning, and I'd asked planning to send them to me, and I haven't gotten them as of this meeting. So once I get them, I'm happy to share them with the commission. But this is the same group that did the past rezoning, so it's the same applicant and that sort of thing. Any questions?
I'm still just trying to wrap my head around, how, no rise determination carries over from the past to the present. Could you just refresh our memories on the difference between no rise and flood map change and how that moves from one zoning to another, please?
So when we adopted the text change in 2022, we basically took the rules that were in the FEMA floodway and extended them to the floodway fringe. Assuming the FEMA floodway is the most sensitive part of the floodplain. But as part of the FEMA floodway, if you can build in the floodway today, you can show no rise. And so that's essentially what they did at site plan. Now, if they get rezoning and get a brand new site plan, that flood study doesn't carry through on this rezoning. Now, if they have the same characteristics of this site plan associated with this new rezoning, then theoretically their same study would kind of hold true on that. But that's going to be up to what they're planning to do with this property. So I'm just not sure how that's going to interact. But if they don't change their site plan that was already approved here, theoretically, the flood study would change, but we still want to see it updated because you more flow when we do it and things like that. So, and as with rezonings, I know the attorney has shared the site plan with, I think, some people on, in planning, things like that. There's no site plan layout attached to a rezoning normally, so they have to approve kind of what something's going to be laid out as it look like, or just kind of characteristics. But a lot of times I'll do it for illustrative purposes to either the commission or the council to kind of show them kind of what they're doing.
So before it gets heard at the planning commission, will there be a staff evaluation from stormwater and other staff on, what are the risks of this?
So as part of the evaluation, we just basically point out kind of what's there now and kind of the cold hard facts as to the environment, the environmental impacts of Canada. Staff doesn't usually give a recommendation up or down, because that'll get us in like trouble with these applicants. And it's up to the planning commission and or city council to make that recommendation, whether it's good for the overall city and environmental welfare in that case. But we just kind of lay out that there is floodplain here, what our regulations are, and kind of impacts of what would happen if they were to build up.
So I guess a follow-up to that. So the planning commission can, recommend approval even before stormwater can review.
We look at it before it goes to plan. So it's part of their backup report that they see all the stuff that we're noting,
Okay.
like environmental issues with that site. So they're basically,
Okay,
but like, we're just pointing out physical environmental features that are on that site and certain code sections we have around those features. That makes sense. And then usually with sites like that are environment sensitive, the applicant will bring comments in, and staff does make comments on those conditions, what they conditions are. We haven't seen those conditions yet.
okay, got it.
If we don't see them before the planning commission meeting, normally the commission will just defer like a decision until staff has to so right the author condition to that.
And you're, at this point, maybe that was this part of the concern. You're not reviewing you haven't reviewed a site plan. It's a conditional use zoning.
Correct. Yeah.
So but they submitted a site plan that almost they did get approval.
Did get approved, but they didn't fill it.
They didn't fill it. So
That
now,
was just these two properties.
yeah.
Mainly on this property, but they did have some encroachment in to this property.
Okay. Well, so we don't know if that's the site plan they're coming back with or not. They're just coming back with the new zone and new conditions. But they may have a conceptual plan they've shared with somebody.
Correct.
Okay, but they aren't
Like
required.
it could have been shared at their neighborhood.
Yeah, they're not required to do that in the city.
Yeah.
So the flood study that was completed, that was completed before. Okay.
Yeah. So
Under the old rule.
well, it's before they had site plan approvals. So their conditions in 2023 kind of attach a condition with our new rule on it. But just like the floodway, you can show no impact, no rise in this area by encroachment. It's not a map change. So I heard one of their attorneys this morning was referring to it as a map change. They haven't formally gone to FEMA and changed the maps. Yeah.
That's a helpful distinction.
Yeah.
And that explains why you don't see the lines changed on IMAPs. Which is, challenging and trying to visualize what impacts would be. I think one thing that came up during the original planning discussion too was that the rezoning that was approved had a number of stormwater conditions, aside from the floodplain. I don't remember what all of them were, but
There's wetlands out there too, buffers and things. That's
green stormwater infrastructure.
Mhm.
And they are not, we don't know what their new
We don't.
conditions are, but they didn't commit to bringing those old conditions forward in the new case. So that was something that was discussed.
And the process of planning commission is they'll go to planning commission. They could be moved forward at that meeting, or most likely it'll be
It could be approved,
committee
it
of
could
the
be,
whole will come.
it is, could be denied, or it could be deferred.
Okay.
Which means that's just.
But it could stay there
It could,
for another month or two.
correct. But the, like it wouldn't get back to the city council until the February 7th meeting or 8th. Like if it got approved or denied, it wouldn't hit the city council generally till April 7th, just because the way the meetings.
At the very earliest.
Yeah, at the very least, exactly.
The unfortunate thing is we don't have a lot of information to go on here.
Correct.
Thing, right? We don't have the conditions. Yeah, we don't really know if they are or not bringing forward what they brought forward for, so.
And like with one of the other cases that we've seen, that we talked about, a lot of times they'll wait on the conditions till they get to council. Like they'll, that one case we talked about that was denied by planning commission, didn't have any conditions on it. Essentially, it got to council, it looked like a host of conditions. So,
I think that being said, and with the sort of lack of information we have now, this might be a good case to request the developer come and present to us on, especially since we do have one more meeting before the city council will be hearing it at their earliest.
our next meeting is April 2nd.
April-ish, yeah. Advanced jump.
Because the council meeting is actually after the first meeting. And I'm happy to check it out.
That was just a
Yeah, I guess,
recommendation if others want.
yeah, I guess that would be, do we want that to be the a motion, or, yeah, I guess, well, then we have conversation there.
If we were, it depends on the timing of when we would, if they were going to come and speak, right, and then if we really depart before meeting.
Yes, at this point, we both have conflicts with April 2nd, and we were gonna put out there the option of alternative dates. You guys can certainly meet without us, chair, but just,
Yeah.
if we meet on the 9th, that would be a problem if council meeting on the 2nd.
Yeah.
If they talk on April 7th at city council, which like I say, is the first possible time they can talk about it, they won't be doing anything setting a public hearing.
Okay,
So there won't be a major discussion.
we still have to.
Yeah, I don't have a day before they come talk to us.
No,
Yeah,
I just want to be clear,
that's good.
like they wouldn't get approved at the April 7th council meeting, like that's not even possible.
Okay. So then back to your motion.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make the motion, given that timeline, seems to work out for us.
Okay, so we'd like to have them come and talk to us so we can learn more.
Yeah, motion to have this applicant come and share with us a little more information about the purpose.
Second that.
Okay. Any discussion about that?
Good idea.
Good idea. Okay, all in favor? Okay.
So this is just the arrow for it.
Yep.
And then the other Sherwood case, so memorize this, and I'll begin the next Sherwood case. Is right next door to me. Different applicant, different, development there. So this is actually, these two residential lots here, which currently is acting for one residential house structure, but it's two lots there. And this is in for rezoning where four, these two lots with classmates. Now, this will go public hearing on April 7th to the city council. So that theoretically could get approved or denied by city council on April 7th. They don't have any stormwater conditions now. There's no real floodplain on this property. They do have a little stream buffer here, but floodplain kind of ends right at the property line, as you can see there. And they are talking about going from R4, which is currently zoned, to R10. So it is adjacent to that other case.
Can you remind me again, R10 is like the townhome or is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's 10 units per acre, so yeah, it's town.
it would be, okay.
Did we see this last month? I feel like we saw it.
And I guess,
I don't know.
I was just gonna note, these are all very close to here, so if people are interested, they
So, yeah,
can
it-
drive by.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other interesting piece on here is that this under area here, it's not gonna be ETJ. So all these neighbors are in ETJ, they're not in students, so. At least with this one, or, 2 or 3 years ago now, there was a lot of neighborhood, against that case, because it's a lot more developed than they're used to in this constructed trail, which is right across the street from kind of NC State student housing, and you've got kind of like, almost like a more rural neighborhood to you.
Sorry.
I was just wondering, because though it's not in a flood zone, but it is very near the flood zone, I'm just trying to understand. There are still risks though from the flood zone with the climate instability and increased flood risk. So
Yes.
did we look into that? Because like, I've been to a lot of public hearing for rezoning. And it seems like if it's not on the flood zone, it's like, it's very safe. Well, in reality, it's not, because it's near the flood zone. And they're trying to rezone into R10, which is, I think, very ambitious for that parcel. I'm just trying to understand like what could be like stormwater measures that we can put in there since it is really near the flood zone.
By ordinance, they would have to treat the 10-year storm, and that's it. There's no, with the overlay or any of that, there's nothing.
Yeah, 2 and 10 years.
2 and 10, and that's it. Okay. And protect the buffer, if that's
Right.
a real strength to do it, the buffer.
Is the purple the hundred or the community or the feature,
Which part, this is the, future part.
just the feature on?
Yeah. It's pretty close to there.
I think that's pretty steep there.
Yeah, that's why it's pretty close.
Yeah.
So the future and the regular.
Is this one where we talk about the city shifting to like a 25-year, with the 10-year thing? Requirement would be a little more restrictive.
And that would be certainly a condition that they would impose, right?
Or yes, the proposed for this.
Yeah,
I think so close.
I think that's what I'm hearing, at least, the mayor now, the idea that because this has potential or it's very close to, it's gonna affect pretty quickly.
Yes, gonna change the.
There's some conditions that would be a little more over. Yeah, yeah.
But they're gonna forward to do.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so one suggestion, and we did talk about this, I think at the last meeting. If the commission is concerned that our current regulations are not stringent enough, I do not believe conditioning every rezoning is the way to handle that. I do believe it would be a better approach to perhaps consider going to council, asking for permission to create a subcommittee to the commission to evaluate the level of service of our regulations, and is a 25-year storm control something the commission would like to put forth? Is extension of the floodplain or perhaps a higher buffer, right? We've got a 2-foot buffer over the base flood elevation is part of the flood proofing. Are those regulation changes something the commission would like to explore with council? To me, that's a much more appropriate way of addressing rather than one-off, because, the only time you get to address it in that situation, if there's a rezoning case. Whereas it sounds like the concern is maybe more broadly, properties adjacent to floodplains that are developing may need more stringent regulation.
I think you should see that.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely something we should consider. And that would be a task force or a subcommittee.
Yeah, so
Or it's the full, but I think it's a smaller group, like the working group that we have to appoint by.
correct, under the new bylaws, which have been adopted now, if the commission would like to develop a subcommittee, you put forth a request to city council to do so. And so, if you would like to do that, we could making a motion, I think, in a second and going through a
Yeah.
vote would be appropriate. And then we could take that to city council on your behalf, to see if council would support that.
Would that be saying that, your team could support me? One of the things in doing this is say, protect all, whatever your store, 1,000 store would be helpful to kind of know the GIS implications of, what areas that affect, what kind of support would we have on? Is this something that be kind of our team just thinking about that, or would that be support of, stormwater as well?
Staff would definitely be able to help facilitate any discussions, do any research, if you would like to explore other municipalities' regulations for examples, or,
Yeah.
anything like that. And just from experience, Ben and I, we went through a similar process for the floodplain rules back in 2022, and a lot of the maybe we're right here. It was about a 2-year process.
Yeah.
So this is not something that, it usually takes a lot of stakeholder input, not only from the commission, but in order to get community input from all sides of the spectrum, council generally will expect that type of stakeholder process which could be a fairly substantial UDO regulations change. So it would not be a quick process. I don't want to, I want to be transparent with that.
Do you think it was helpful for? Something like that?
Yes, yeah, I mean, there were some pretty substantial changes to the floodplain regulations that made the development in the floodplain more restrictive.
I think it's very prudent for us.
Okay, but just continue the dialogue but I think we have a motion. But as it gets to that point, it doesn't mean SMAC's having a subcommittee, then we're having a discussion at the larger group. We aren't hosting the public, or are we? Public forums, or is that as it moves through text change, possible language, and the lawyers get involved and stuff like that? I mean, are we making suggestions, or are we on the forefront of that whole process? And I'm fine however, but I just want to know what that means over the next, what does it typically look like?
So your subcommittee meetings would be open to the public and would be advertised, and the issues that were being discussed would be disclosed. So you very likely would get community members. I think it would start out as an open discussion of the subcommittee of what the goals were. Then it would be up to you, and we could provide some input and guidance as to whether you would like to have more of a stakeholder involvement process, because in that situation, a whole separate stakeholders group was created for the floodplain regulation review, separate from the SMAC subcommittee, okay? And then that stakeholders group went through a lengthy process of educating them and looking at different rules and all of that. So that would be something that we could explore with you in terms of how to go through the process. But the first step would be to create the subcommittee, and then the subcommittee could work through a work plan of the path forward. Simple changes might, if you go through initial discussion, it's relatively simple changes. You might not need to do a whole stakeholders process. But if it's fairly substantial changes like the floodplain regulations, it might be to do that more of a longer stakeholders process. But that's not something you would have to
So
decide.
it sounds like, we don't have to solve it today. Right. So we have two issues at hand: the motion or the consideration for this topic, and that project. So, I guess let's talk, with this, keep it iron hot. You would like to make a motion of creating subcommittee?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we create a subcommittee to look at the regulations.
Seconded. Okay. Any further discussion? I don't know.
For the subcommittee.
Yeah.
That would be up to you.
Do we need to be more specific about that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. More specifically. Right. That's a good point.
It's like a review of the adequacy of the city's current stormwater requirements.
As far as detention goes,
As far as what?
as far as detention goes, because what we're really talking about is changing
Yes, particularly for
the
the
frequency of
stormwater.
It's post-construction
those with permanent detention.
detention.
Yes.
Okay.
And for floodplain too. I mean,
And floodplain,
you-
and floodplain.
My suggestion would be, word it something like a review of stormwater related unified development ordinance, requirements. And then I don't think you have to get more specific than that.
Yeah, I think you go into where you want.
Yeah, because that would include floodplain regulations, post, construction detention requirements, so forth, even erosion and sediment control, potentially, if that's something, again, you wanted to delve into. And then early in the subcommittee process, you could develop a little mini work plan for what you would like to open it up. That might help determine the path forward. In terms of people serving, my suggestion would be get the subcommittee approved by council first, and then you could have a dialogue of who would like to serve on that subcommittee. That can come later too.
So can we, I guess, can the motion be amended to use his words?
Please.
And we have a second, and are we all, whoever is in favor? raise your hand. Okay. So however it needs to go to council, when Councilor Jones is here, that's however it goes up to the
So
city manager.
we'll work with yeah,
All right.
to get it, and let you know when it's gonna be on the council.
Yes, please, let us know. Okay, cool. All right, thanks for that. Yes,
But, so that we don't have any action, I guess, for that.
that's what I want to, we are not done yet, so I do want to see if we have action for this.
No, not, oh, yes, sorry.
So I guess we have seen this before, and we didn't have any suggested actions. But yet, we're hearing concerns about its location and the proximity to floodplain. Are we allowed to make general comments like we think they should come in with more site-specific stormwater conditions, or should we, or do we have to ask them to present so we can then make those comments? Okay.
I can get some guidance on that. Yeah, so the guidance that we've gotten from, planning department has been, if you as a commission would like to comment and on a rezoning case, you would, the best practice would be to invite the applicant to come so that you're hearing that side of the story. Now, if any commission member would like to comment during a public hearing or otherwise as a individual citizen, you could certainly do that separately, right? But if you would like to take action as a commission, as you have on a handful of times, you would want to start by inviting the applicant to the commission.
Okay, that's very helpful. And I guess my concern is there's a timing challenge.
Yeah, the timing's a little different.
We saw this before and didn't ask them to come in, and therefore the time, they're going to a public hearing on April 7th. And it probably makes sense if someone had an individual concern, they would go as an individual that day versus us trying to, I don't want to be getting in a situation where we're like, hey, you're over the project. You know, that's great.
And that's why.
My initial thoughts are.
Sorry, do you all send that link to us? I mean, I guess it would be great if you could send us a reminder so we can tune into the hearing. Yeah.
Yeah, and you had a comment.
I was just going to build off of what Wayne's point was earlier, which I think is well taken, that, there's a difference between cases that seem like they're, requesting impact in an existing floodplain, because to me, that falls into a category of like, that is in our purview right now under the current UDO. And then there's cases like this where it begs the question of, do our current rules sort of satisfy what needs to be done? And I think those are a different conversation that we'd be having under that task force. And so to avoid the situation where we're calling forward every development to ask for conditions, I think I see this parcel as, I echo Marinel's concerns about this being adjacent to the floodplain, and I do think our UDO could be updated. And at the same time, I see it as different than the other case that is in the floodplain and has requested, has done a no impact study and is going to put a lot of density right there. And so I think the first one makes sense for us to engage in, right now, asking for conditions. And the second one is part of that broader conversation of, do we update the UDO and what does that look like?
I support that. Yeah, definitely given, just what you said. Yeah.
I have a question. Does it mean that there's no stormwater condition offered and we are not commenting on this? Does it mean that we are okay as a commission for this for this to go through?
It means that we are accepting of the Raleigh Unified Development. We have, I mean, there are still rules on the table, 50-foot buffers and 10-year storms and stuff like that, sediment erosion control measures. I think we definitely are supportive of the UDO. At this point, we would, of course, just nominate ourselves to do a task force to see if we can make those stronger.
This is a rezoning case, it's not even to do with the development.
We don't know what
We
to
haven't
do.
applied for the development, it's just saying, hey, can we put our density on there?
And I think there is a distinction between us as a commission endorsing a rezoning and choosing not to engage. And so it's not as if we're saying, we love this, we're lifting it up as a model case, but I
Yeah,
think,
absolutely.
not engaging looks like just not, commenting. Essentially.
Yeah, every case that Ben and Samantha bring to us, we're not gonna engage, like, we're just sometimes for information because there may be of interest. So I think that's what we're trying to decide is how often, which one we dive into.
Yeah.
So,
I guess it would be a helpful language whenever there's a stormwater person that comes during a public hearing, and then the council is asking stormwater about what stormwater thinks, and there's the stormwater staff that goes on there and talk and say like, well, there's no stormwater. Because I guess what I'm trying to say is there is like a miscommunication during a public hearing when the staff would say that there's no stormwater conditions offered, or like, I guess I just love your language about like the difference between endorsing it and not taking. Because there's like, people can take that differently.
in fact, crazy question. Do we have from the council, a written list of criteria in which Samantha and Ben are kind of pulling cases to us, and which we are saying, like, in which ones are kind of carving out that you guys are using your judgment, but what did the council say to us? All cases that have X and Y?
It's really been a reference from council or from the planning commission for
Okay.
input. And we've been using the liaison meetings as part of that dialogue for when planning commission would like input from SMAC. And generally, the cases that Ben and Samantha have been presenting are the ones that have come up in those liaison meetings as having some stormwater relevance that they would like some input as applicable. Am I representing that fairly, Ben and Samantha?
And in your liaison meetings, it's Dwight, who's the planning commission liaison, and
Correct.
Bynum, who leads all the results.
Correct.
Right, so the four of you making this call that we should be reviewing these.
Correct.
Okay.
That's right.
Do people get denied for rezoning? I mean,
Yes.
Or
so why would this get denied? I don't know, track this out and talk about later, but I feel like we always hear the rezoning cases, well, rezoning this year, because that's when it's supposed to be. The whole point is to make it not, make it less dense, like.
Yeah, density situation, the neighbors have concerns, there's traffic concern, there's stormwater concern, environmental concern. There's a lot of reasons why rezoning is made.
Yeah, I guess every rezoning kind of to a higher density versus stormwater problems for the city, most likely an environmental effect. I mean, that might be a total assumption, but.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, yeah, I mean, there's maybe some case studies that are certainly abusive.
If it was built to gas.
Yeah.
If it was built to gas, stuff that's.
Well, in a lot of rezoning cases, just change what you can build on there. It doesn't necessarily change the amount of impervious area. Generally,
Yeah, okay.
stormwater impacts are impervious areas a surrogate, right? So it may change it from residential to commercial, but stormwater impacts.
Single family neighborhood, you don't want.
Yeah.
City council about to.
Yeah, it's probably a land use challenge, yeah.
And it's a greenfield site. I think that piece that, the impervious piece seems like the relevant stormwater piece for us. But I think the other thing is, anytime a rezoning is happening, it is a applicant requesting to change the UDO. And I think that's an important thing to remember is that we have a UDO that says what's possible there, and there's a request being made to change that to accommodate a development case, which I think warrants, if there's a case that's in the floodplain, then I think that is a valid conversation to have about it.
The topography there is crazy. It's on the map.
Well, we're saying the zoning changes what they.
Yeah.
All right, so right now, it's, okay.
Sorry, I have a last question. I wonder if, I'm just trying to clarify and understand that if stormwater is not engaging in this, it doesn't mean that there's no stormwater issues.
Well, the rezoning, we don't know what the development's gonna be, so they're just proposing rezoning, and when they're in this different zoning, they have to follow the city's stormwater regulation.
Yeah, they're still following the city's rules.
Okay,
That's still, they always have.
They're not asking for exemption from the city's stormwater regulation. So just still have to submit through construction drawings, all the details that can be.
And you can't make a condition if it's less than the current UDO.
Right.
They can present a condition saying, well, we don't want to do the 2 and 10 year, we don't want to do 2 year. Like, that wouldn't be a valid condition.
That's not allowed.
So we at least have the UDO as the backbone of the,
Correct.
as the, in all sites across. When we're looking at it, we're looking to add or review possible new additional stormwater conditions or concerns. Get those, so. So it sounds like at this point, if anybody wants to speak on that case, then we'll do it as a private citizen. So. Okay, all right, thank you.
And last one is one case on New Hope Road, not the one that we had the applicant to speak about, but it's the one to the east side of New Hope Road. It's for the Old Town development. It's on a ridge line. So it drains into 2 different watersheds, so there's no floodplain on site or any buffers. It's actually giving the commercial area a little flexibility to add some residential units. And it's going public hearing April 7th and 8th as well. And there are no more conditions associated with it, so it would be subject to the regular or stormwater.
Once again, we've seen this a couple times and we've decided not to have the applicant come forward. So I guess, I know you have some personal, some more, you're very close to the site.
And that's good, they're adding residential there.
they're trying to add a 625, well, not 600 because they changed their condition. Because our community member, that's my area right now. I live right there on Kane, near Pinamasa. And there's like a lot. They're trying to build down. They're 600 townhomes. They initially asked for 625. But they're already, but just to say that that is right across the Z 1125, which is the flood zone rezoning that they were there on last month
Yeah, it was withdrawn, or withdrawn, Gina.
in January. Exactly.
Okay, so at this point, I think, given that it's not, I understand its proximity and sensitivity, but I feel like just kind of what we just talked about with the other site. Is it safe to say, people could put a motion for option of this, but that if we were to talk about it and given a time is up on the 7th of April, you would speak about it as a private citizen, if there was, is that fair here? Okay. I don't want to put anybody in a box, but it sounds like following our criteria, that's over. Okay. Okay, all right, cool. Thank you. Let's see, staff updates from the matters on the board.
Okay, great. Excuse me. So, first announcement, council last meeting did, appoint a new SMAC member, to take the place of Melody Whitford, who, did not renew her term. The new SMAC member is Colin McCarville, and I don't think so McCarville's here. He said he might try to get by. But he will be here, for the April meeting. He has a architecture background, so we'll welcome him. I would like to introduce the new engineering services director, Byron Sanders, is here today. Welcome, Byron. Thanks for coming by. So engineering services is the department that stormwater resides within. Byron started his career with NCDOT in 2003 as a student at NC State, and then after graduating, joined NCDOT full-time. Over the years, he held roles as assistant district engineer in the Wayne County office, state encroachments engineer, and later as head of the utilities unit. Then in 2023, he applied and was selected as the Assistant Director position with the City of Raleigh in the Engineering Services Department over roadway design and construction management. And late last year, he became the Engineering Services Director. He's a professional engineer and a certified public manager. Welcome, Byron, and congratulations on your new role. Thanks for visiting.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. High priority topics. We have our FY 27 proposed stormwater budget that I will be presenting later on this agenda. And we do have the presentation to City Council on March 9th, which is a public meeting. So anyone would be welcome to attend or watch the streaming online. A few other announcements. We do have Creek Week coming up on March 14th through March 21st. And Matt is pulling up the website. There are a lot of activities. Hope you can join us. You can see there's a trash trap naming contest, storm drain marking pop-up, rain garden, rain barrel workshop, and so forth. So lots of activities. Welcome you to join us as you are able. There is also an Earth Day event at Dix Park, and that will be on Friday, April 24th. That will be where Chair Smith will be awarding the Capture It Arts Contest Awards that you all will be voting on here later in this meeting. And then finally, we noticed this before, but there's a Green Infrastructure Leadership Exchange meeting, the 2026 annual meeting, and this is a national organization, has brought their meeting to Raleigh, May 4th through 7th. So please let us know if you're interested. There are avenues for the commission to participate if you'd be interested in attending that conference.
Who do we let know? You?
Yeah, just let me know. Let me know if you have any interest in it. I'll pass that along to Sally Hoyt, who is on the board of directors for GILD and has been a big part of that meeting being brought to Raleigh. Notices for prior to construction. We have a few projects listed. Our several drainage assistance projects are moving forward, so we're excited to see that work continue. And that's all I had. Sure.
All right, thank you for that. Let's see, we go to the modified consent agenda for the Raleigh Rainwater Awards projects. Justin was here. And I believe we have 3 projects.
Good afternoon. Real quick, I wanted to just report out a couple of things. These are the final 3 projects we're going to bring forward this fiscal year. So this will utilize the rest of our funding for the year. And we've already started creating a queue of projects up to about 10 at present for fiscal year 27. So several of those are holdovers waiting for the 90% cost share change that City Council approved at the beginning of February. So we have several of those and several others that are just in the queue ready for next fiscal year. So just a quick, if you think back in your mind, fiscal year 26, we've supported everything from the Food Bank of North Carolina, which was our largest project in several years, all the way to, just the 200 square foot rain garden in Watkins Street. So 33 projects, we're at $650,000, which is the most single in a fiscal year for the program. So notable year. I appreciate the support and compliments to the team for getting us to this point. Happy to take questions on 2 rain garden projects or the cistern project. And then after you take action on this, I have one parting question.
Anybody have any questions? Or any that we would like to break out first?
How big is that cistern? Like physical? I believe it's broken up across 2 cisterns. I can, that's huge, right? It's actually broken up across 3 cisterns to capture almost the entire house. There's a section in the back that's not being captured. And I can show you with that. Right here. And this is a project that is being supported by Urban Sustainable Solutions, the USS nonprofit that's partnered with our education outreach staff. So students will be involved in all components of this project. So then you'll see these small orange cisterns.
There's 3 cisterns.
Yes,
sir. Thanks.
Any other questions?
For the Watkins Street, where is the rain garden proposed? Is it in the front yard or in the backyard? Or-
I might have to rely on my bullpen, which is also named Steve Angelico. Steve, are you able to see if that is the front yard or backyard? I want to say it is front yard.
Yeah, I'll get back at that in a second.
Right here is where. My photo shows right here.
Yeah.
Right on the.
Thanks, Steve.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, seconded, okay, sorry. Josh,
That's okay.
all in favor of approving these?
Quick draw.
Okay, all right, we're approved. Thank you very much.
My parting question is, how the commission feels or how they like to proceed with fiscal year 27 project requests. I know at present, the schedule is not to have a July meeting. And in years past, we've typically brought projects forward for the new fiscal year, either in the May or June timeframe. So we're not having those applicants wait until August. I'm happy to, I'm leaning on the commission for how y'all would like to proceed with those applications. I guess options on the table would be May, June, or August.
I think May, June is fine. Whichever one.
Yeah.
May, June.
All right, I appreciate it.
Okay, last month at our commission meeting, we gave you a little preview of the budget development process and a little review for some of you who have been here through this before, others who haven't, a preview of the process to come. And at this point in time, I'd like to give you a preview of the presentation that we will be making to City Council on coming Monday, March 9th, with our FY 27 budget proposal. You have seen the mission statement and vision, so I won't review that in detail, but I think it is important to always remind ourselves why we're here, what we do, and how it all fits with that mission and vision. Here's the agenda. Talk a little bit about past and ongoing work, and get into the budget proposal related to the CIP and debt service, operational budget drivers, and then the proposed rate and fee changes. You know all about these programs. Again, don't need to go into detail, but these are all elements that continue to be funded in the FY 27 budget. We are proposing some slight increases in many of these. I think we forecast the rainwater rewards program. We're proposing to increase that budget fairly significantly from about $500,000 to $1 million because of the significant increase that we're seeing in interest and all the value and outreach that we are getting from that program. Other programs will continue with slight increases, but all very, very popular aspects of our programs. We will continue watershed studies as shown in the purple. These are ongoing, recent and ongoing programs, and we will be conducting our green stormwater infrastructure master plan as well as projects all over the city. That many that you all see through drainage assistance and stream stabilization, and then other capital improvement projects that we implement as well. A few highlights from this year. Again, you're familiar with a lot of these, but we're very proud of the community rating system score of 5 that the team received from FEMA. And this does directly result in a 25% savings in the flood insurance costs from everyone who is insured through the National Flood Insurance Program. So that's a big deal for the team. And we have officially now, I don't know that you've officially been told this, but we've received our cooperating technical partner agreement from FEMA. So this is a big milestone for the team as well. We are still negotiating all of the transition, but ultimately what this will let us do is develop our own floodplain maps internally to the city. It will ultimately also allow us to do our map revision reviews internally within our staff. So that gives us a lot more autonomy in terms of how to manage our floodplain management program, as well as renew those maps on a much faster schedule. And then we don't have to do an entire city at once. If we see some specific areas, in fact, we will probably break the city up into groups and rotate around in terms of how that mapping is updated. Very proud of the green stormwater infrastructure plan and maintenance crew. They are staffed, they are busy. Not only are they maintaining 40+ green stormwater infrastructure devices that are owned by the city, they are involved in lots of outreach. Justin just mentioned USS, the nonprofit that we partner with, the Workforce Development Program, the Rain Garden Apprenticeship Program. This crew helps with that program as well as other outreach. We are continuing to fund more and more green stormwater infrastructure to be installed as part of other city departments' projects. And so that will continue to need additional maintenance as well. We have well over 100 stormwater devices that are owned. That's just the ones owned by the city. So this crew is staying very busy. We still contract on a lot of that maintenance work, but we're looking to grow this crew and keep more of that work in-house. And we'll need more resources on a continued basis as well. As you know, we fund 62 positions in the Department of Transportation stormwater maintenance team as well. That team continues to stay very busy as well as continue to improve their efficiencies. They have converted from what was 6 or 7 years ago primarily a reactive maintenance program where they would wait until things broke and fixed, to a much more proactive inspection-based, condition assessment-based program where now they're planning and scheduling maintenance based on the inspections that they've done. Much more efficient. They're able to do work directly and not have to run all over town. So they're spending a lot more time doing actual maintenance, a lot less time driving around the city. But we still have issues. We still have challenges. Climate change is real. We're seeing it in the rainfall statistics. We're seeing larger rainfalls, more intense rainfalls, and aging infrastructure continues to be an issue. We're becoming much more aware of the aging infrastructure issues and have that condition information. So we're able to apply our risk model and set our priorities in terms of where to rehabilitate and replace that infrastructure. And then water quality challenges continue, but making a lot of progress with that, not only with our team that is out investigating outfalls and illicit discharges, but also the green stormwater infrastructure, stream restoration, and other water quality improvement programs that we have. So lots of great work. All of these programs are included in our next budget. Here's a pie chart of our known stormwater capital improvement needs and the major categories that they fall into. We're making progress on this. And we've got about a little over $900 million of needs. The bulk of those are in the major CIP. That's the dam restoration and improvements, flooding, neighborhood flooding issues, culvert upgrades to improve the level of service for roads, those types of big infrastructure problems. And then you can see the other categories. And as you know, this fiscal year where we are right now is the first year we've gotten permission to use debt. So where in the past we had to spend $12 or $13 million a year we're spending much more than that, able to incur debt now and take on larger projects and more projects and deliver those much more quickly. And many of these things you're familiar with, these are the types of projects in the $6 to $11 million range. We just would not have been able to fit a project this size into a pay-as-you-go budget, a $12 million per year budget. So this gives us a lot more flexibility to deliver all of these projects, and they are all underway and under design and moving into construction in the next couple of years. Turning to the operations budget, the way we are structured into 4 divisions: business and financial management, development and mitigation management. That's Ben Brown's group that does all the plant review and permitting, infrastructure and capital improvements group. So that's money's group that delivers the projects, planning and asset management. Barbara's group, stormwater maintenance. That's the transportation and field services. And business financial is Scott Bryant's group, does all the administration, rate modeling, rate setting, and so forth. So you can see the breakdown in terms of how our operational costs are spread along those groups. So here's the proposed fiscal year 27 rate. We've taken all of these projected costs and plugged them into our rate model. As you're aware, our current fiscal year 26 budget is about $43 million based on an $8.22 per month per single family equivalent unit. That's our billing unit. So the median single family home pays $8.22 on their water and sewer bill every month. We are proposing a 25 cents per month increase to that unit to get that cost of $8.47 per month, and that is projected to increase our proposed annual budget to a little over $45 million. Here's what that looks like based on our historical trends, going back to the elimination of, or beginning of the stormwater utility back in fiscal year 04. You may recall we went about 12 years there without any rate increases. And then we had some larger jumps to catch up with the level of service, much more modest increases the last 5 or 6 years. That 25 cents, that's about a 3% increase in rate. Compared to our peer cities and utilities, we are about in the middle of this group. And you can see we're comparing it to peer cities in North Carolina. We also consider other state capitals, our peers who have added some state capitals across the Southeast that also have stormwater utilities. The proposed increase would really keep us in the same spot relative to our peer communities. As a quick reminder, that median single family house is based on 2,260 square feet of impervious area. It's the average or the median on the lot. And so that's what our single family equivalent unit is based on. And that's the $8.47 monthly bill. All other properties on Raleigh, we take the aerial photographs, we measure the amount of impervious area on that property and divide it by that unit of 2,260 square feet and come up with a number of equivalent units. And then that is the multiplier times the $8.47 to get the monthly bill. So for this example, commercial property, based on the amount of impervious surface, they have 21 units. Their monthly bill would be $177.87 per month. And when you look at Raleigh's impervious area, 2/3 of all of the impervious area in Raleigh is on commercial properties. So as a result, proportionately, the revenues that we get, 2/3 of the stormwater revenues we get are from commercial properties. That's frankly where most of the impervious surface is. And the remaining 1/3 is residential. It's single family residential. And here's what you can see, not only the 2/3 commercial, but the breakdown of the tiers of the residential, by far, most of the single-family residential is in that tier two. That's between 1,000 and 3,800 square feet, and that's the $8.47. The larger residential, the rates do go up. And then, tier five is actually very large residential, and it's treated just like commercial. One significant change in our budget this year is we are proposing changes to our development permitting fees. This is something in the past we have only made indexing, cost of living, consumer CPI index changes, but that has not been keeping up with the actual cost of our plan review, permitting staff, our inspection staff. In fact, we had a consultant do a cost recovery study of what the fees we were collecting based on permit fees compared to our actual cost of our staff. And we're recovering less than 50% of the costs. And so we are proposing some increases in those fees, as well as a little bit of restructuring that I'll talk about in those fees, with the cost recovery goal being 100%. And this is consistent with council guidance. We realize we probably won't get to 100% in 1 year because we are below 50%. So we're proposing this be phased in over multiple years. Here's one of the big changes that we're proposing to make. We are proposing what we are calling a stormwater review fee of $1,500 for projects that require site permitting. So this is mostly large commercial and large residential subdivision types of projects. What happens here is we do not charge currently anything when a plan is submitted for review. Oftentimes we will spend time reviewing that plan, good bit of site time, staff time, and then either that project does not move forward or is delayed significantly, but we don't have any revenue from that at this point in time. Other communities, Wayne County, Charlotte, Apex, have this upfront plan review fee that's charged at the submittal point of the process. And so this is probably one of the bigger changes, and that fee is $1,500 plus $50 per acre. So this is one of the more significant changes, again, in line with many of our peers. A few other changes that we're proposing, these three permits, flood permit, stormwater conveyance permit, water supply watershed permit, have just been set fees as of now. And we are proposing to change those set fees slightly. But because of the larger project, the complexity and time spent of the reviews goes up, we are proposing to add an acreage fee, a per acre fee on top of that of $50 per disturbed acre. And so again, that will increase the cost of reviews or permits for these larger projects, reflecting the time that we take, not only on the plan review, but the inspection as well. These are the rest of our fees. These are relatively nominal changes in terms of the proposed increases. The only one that I would like to note related to the one you read on the left is the simple flood study. You may recall one of the things we did with our stormwater design manual is we created a provision for a simpler flood study to be done for much smaller projects that a larger comprehensive flood study was not needed. These simple flood studies are easier for us to review. So, but the fee had not been changed for either type of flood study. So we are actually proposing the simple flood study have a lower fee of only $250 per review, reflecting again our time spent on this flood study. So that actually smaller houses and things that are doing flood studies will decrease the cost of that project. Here's a few examples that the staff has put together to show how these fees will add up for this type of a development review. Example A is a two acre commercial site. with 2 acres of limits of disturbance, 1 stormwater measure, 300 linear feet of storm drains. Under the current fiscal year permitting fees, it would be about $1,800. Under the new fees, that would go up to over $3,600. And then you can see how that proposal compares to Durham, Apex, Charlotte, Wake County. So we are in line, really right in the middle with the permitting fees for those other communities for that example. Example B is a little bit larger family subdivision. Under the current system, 39,000 would go up to 51,000. A little higher than some of our peers. But keep in mind, these are the current FY26 fees. So do expect those would likely go up for FY27. So more or less, we believe we're in line with those as well. Some other examples, these are smaller projects, single family homes, still have some modest increase for these, although the example on the right related to that simple flood study, so it would actually go down overall in that situation. So that's what we have. Be glad to answer any questions that you have about the budget. Should the commission be comfortable doing so, a recommendation or an endorsement of the proposal might be helpful or would be helpful when we present to the city council on this coming Monday, March 9th. But at this point, glad to take any questions that you all may have and go back to any slides.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Are the fees capped at all, or is it sky's the limit?
Fees are not capped. I mean, based on
Yeah.
project size, no, there's no cap. Ben and Sally weigh in if, no. So that per acre fee would continue to go up for a larger project. Now, there's only sites that are so large in Raleigh anymore. So it would be capped by the largest size of the project that someone would put it. Yeah, Ben, please.
If you're an acre or under, we don't do it per acre coverage.
Okay.
That, there is a full pay.
Yeah. So if you're under an acre, yeah, there's 9 acres.
Is it per review or is it one-time review fee?
For the new $1,500 fee, it's a one-time. When you submit the first review project.
For the per acre is an every time fee?
Per acre is one, sorry. Yeah. The review fee is the first time you submit. Sorry, not for every subdivision.
Ben, come on up, come on.
Sorry, yeah.
If you don't mind, it's a little hard to get. I want to make sure that your response is with.
This is in addition to the regular 3% inflation increase kind of thing.
This is.
So that's, we're not doing 3% inflation.
You're not, okay. So my question was, I like that, but my question was, what is the anticipated time to catch up? You said you were gonna do this until you said kind of catch up.
So we modeled these fees based on a typical year
Yeah.
of permit submittals. And it would come between 80 and 85% of the cost recovery is what we were predicting, whereas we were below 50%. So we'll monitor that. We may be able to do it in one more year's increases to get to the 100%.
And then you would roll it back, or you would just keep it.
Then you would just do cost of living increase.
Yeah,
We would do
CPI.
right.
But real
Did
quick,
you consider keeping the fees? Like not lowering the fees back down? I thought you, I'm gonna.
The only fee we're proposing to lower is that simple flood study.
Yeah,
Everything
you're
else.
raising all these fees. I thought that once you recovered the cost, you were gonna.
Oh, good. Oh, I see your question. Okay, yeah, no, that's an important point. So the cost recovery is based on annual costs every year. So it's not just a one-time thing. So we'll have plan reviews every year, we'll have inspections every year, and that staff remains the same. So next year, we'll have another, budget to try to recover, right? So it's not just a one-time fee. No, I just.
So you'll look at it each
Yeah, they're trying
year
to-
and align to see.
Yes, correct.
If you're, because I know it's difficult, but nothing to review.
Yeah.
So the initial fee How many reviews do they get before you have to charge them another fee? Because I know
So
some
right now, since there's no additional like review fee now, you can pretty much get as many review cycles as you want. So we'll just be adding that initial fee to the same system. So
Okay.
we wouldn't be capping like this is budget before like review cycles.
Yeah, I know some municipalities that will do that, like you get 3,
Yes.
and then if you don't have everything addressed, then you gotta pay another fee.
We did talk about that. By the time you're on the 4th or 5th review, it's getting pretty controversial at that point. We didn't want to add another fee on top of that, but our goal is to work with the developer and the engineer to try and reduce the number of reviews. It's in everyone's best interest to do that. Yeah, but that's a fair question.
Okay, so yeah, back to that question. I think you may have just answered it, but the question I asked is like, what's the bill of second submittal? What's the bill of third submittal? Sorry.
So after the initial like review fee on the first submittal, there's no more stormwater resubmittal fee.
Okay, got it. It's a, okay.
But there'll be a fee for the permit. once
Yeah,
that's-
exactly. Yeah, okay.
No additional plan review.
Correct.
Thank you for that. Any other dialogue, anybody?
I have a quick question unrelated to this, so if others want to talk
Okay.
more about
Okay,
the adjustment.
okay, so two parts of what you're proposing is this is all part of your overall budget.
Correct.
So we can review and propose, we recommend this to council. Or, right, you're not looking to break it up, the fee one way and the.
If you would like to,
budget
you
another way, or-
could certainly do that if the commission would wish to make a distinction.
Okay, well, let's answer your other question then first.
My question just has to do with the FEMA cooperating technical partner status. I think feels like a really big deal, and I just wanted to know more about what the city had to do to get that status and how many other cities have it.
Good question. I'll turn that to Ben. Again, it's, really matters.
So North Carolina, we would be the second city. The state of North Carolina is a cooperative technical partner with FEMA as well as City of Charlotte. So you'd be the second city. And Charlotte's been doing it since before the state was cooperative technical. So essentially, it'll allow us to kind of learn on map changes, like instead of sending those map changes to FEMA, you can send them to us. We're gonna look at each watershed and figure out which watershed needs a map update at any time. So based on city priorities and not actually FEMA's priorities about what gets updated, because we've seen the past, I'm sure you guys have noticed, the past two like review cycles have been in 2006 and in 2022. That's an awful long time to wait. A lot of development happens in between those two times. So based on like the watershed, because I went into this thinking that we would set a goal to update the entire city over X amount of years. But after getting into it, it's more like, I want to look at the watershed and see how they develop. That's how we would then prioritize our different maps. But it's pretty exciting and also something that we've been working for a couple of years now. Shockingly, from FEMA's standpoint, there was paperwork, but not as much as I thought. And
Good,
right
and
now,
also
we're in the
just-
state to figure out how we're gonna interact with the state, because like I said, Charlotte did theirs before the state became a cooperative partner. And I was floored to find out that the state and Charlotte don't have any memorandums of agreement or anything between each other. They just kind of had a gentleman's agreement to do their stuff. So we're like, we want to write everything down for our program. So we're gonna try to put that.
Did you get funding from FEMA?
And, traditionally,
Yeah,
for the past year, they've been on there.
sure.
But we're hoping that comes back.
Yeah, does this add staff requirements? I mean, you have a floodplain manager now, but
so
you're gonna hire someone else to do more?
So we had planned on expanding the floodplain group
Okay.
from 2 tow staff to 3 tow staff, and take care of it. We think that would do kind of that job. So that's kind of what we were planning to kind of beef up there as we go. Because we've added pretty much 1 staff person a year to the floodplain group the past couple of years until last year.
Okay. So the two staff in it that we added in anticipation of the Seamus and Allison, we have met, and then we are proposing a third.
And there may be some FEMA money in the grant back.
So we hope that comes back. But actually getting into it, we didn't realize it was FEMA money until we got into the program. We're like, well, we have bad news about the grant funding. I'm like, well, you did, you weren't counting. I understand. So it's just great when you get grant funding.
Okay,
So we're very excited.
We have a usually do a year.
What they got, like, what, FEMA. Oh, well, FEMA plus this, so we're anticipating based on what the state's looking at for us as far as like the conditional letters of map provision and letters of map provision. I mean, really like 20 to 25.
Yeah,
And the majority of that is like public.
Yeah.
Which is, there's like freeways, things like that. Right. So, yeah.
This is a tangential question, but one thing that, just occurred to me, and this came up recently in Durham, because they have a separate, permitting review program, because they have expanded buffers sort of beyond the state required buffers. And so when they issue no practical alternatives, they, do that internally, similar to how you would be doing some flood map revisions. And they're discussing now creating an interactive map to visualize where those are being issued so that the community can sort of see where those are happening. I wonder if that's something that the city could explore with its 4 staff who are out on this program, but looking at, if there's only 25 a year, like where are those and.
So, and we'll get into some of this in April, but we had given a presentation last year about this company that we partnered with called Forerunner to get a lot more flood information online. We're kind of piggyback, not necessarily with Forerunner, with our GIS to make sure we're tracking all the map changes within the city in a much easier format than FEMA is now. If you can find that stuff, it's just tough to find.
Yeah.
But we'd like it to become a layer on the IMAPs will be my ultimate goal. We'll see if it has to be part of a different program linked to like our city website. That would be good. So that's what we're gonna have, that map change information, because a lot of times, like we were saying with that one case, FEMA will change the flood line, and unless you know where to look, you can't tell where it's been changed. And when you're looking for a text document, not necessarily a graphic document, which is kind of weird, maps are based on graphical maps, you'd like to be able to see those changes in real time, but once that's changed.
Yeah, look for the red outline.
so in April, we will have that floodplain management discussion.
Yeah.
Presenting what the system is, so, yeah.
Right.
Okay, I
think we have a motion.
Yeah, I motion to, endorse or recommend a basin.
Second.
Second. Okay, all in favor of that? Okay.
thank you very much. Yes, we
Appreciate it. Thanks for your input.
And you said you're presenting on the 9th.
Right.
On the 17th is a different thing. That's the drainage system, so
Yes, yes.
stabilization. That's
Correct. The 9th is a special budget work session the council is holding for enterprise funds. So on the 9th, Raleigh Water will be presenting, Raleigh Stormwater will be presenting, parking, and there's one more enterprise fund that is presenting. But ultimately, and I didn't say this, ultimately, our budget will be rolled into the city's larger budget. The council will not vote on the 9th, but they will, let us know if there's any concerns or questions or changes they would like us to implement. But then it'll be rolled into the bigger project and then voted up or down to the city budget overall. Is that possible?
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Now, one of our favorite times of the year. Our favorite people.
Yes, earlier we said save the best for last, but there's other things that are definitely more important, so I mean, this is important, all of it's important, right? Yeah, we're very excited to present the finalists for the Capture It Arts contest. My name is Ariel Michelle. I'm the communications analyst for Raleigh Stormwater.
Where you're at on the community engagement analyst for.
Yes, and we have been running this contest for about a month. And we had an internal jury, but with staff to determine 5 finalists in the art and video. And then we also just launched a new contest that is a Stormwater Smart Award, which is for educators who are promoting stormwater education inside and out of the school as well. So we'll be having voting for that too. You should have received an email last evening from Scott with the voting link, if you could pull that up, and if you can't find it, I can certainly assist, and if someone needs a phone to use, they can also use. But let me know if everyone can find it or can't find it, it'd be good. Okay. So we're gonna look at the artwork first, and then the video, and it should be in sections, so, at the end, you'll see the submit button. Just make sure, you shouldn't be able to go to the end without making a selection for all of them. But yeah.
Yeah, everybody good? You got the artwork up? Okay.
And the students and teachers were made aware of this meeting, so they might be listening and watching, so. Give me feedback. It's like, no.
You got it, Mary?
Good. Okay.
We're just gonna check the audio and make sure it's working.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll go ahead and. Oh, yes, sorry, jumping ahead of ourselves. So this is the prompt for the artwork and videos. We basically wanted the students to show us how they are keeping Raleigh's waterways healthy and clean. And also trying to incorporate green stormwater infrastructure and other nature-based practices in how we are managing stormwater. So those should be incorporated in the artwork, and you will basically be judging kind of on those elements, creativity, how are they expressing that message in the artwork? And there will also be a narrative that they wrote as well with the artwork, and we'll let you read through that and look at the artwork. Okay, awesome. This is the first one, where care becomes a current. Is that a good pace? That's good, okay. So the next one is 11th grade, still is flipped. Next one is, 12th grade and the Deep River Diagram. Next one is 12th grade, and this is protect what flows through us.
Oh, yes.
Oh, is that?
That's okay. That's all right.
That's fine.
Sorry,
Yeah.
okay, it is on there though.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sorry about that. Sometimes you triple check these things and it, yeah. Next one is choking the blue. Okay. And this should be the last one for Auburn.
You go back to the prompt.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, go back, yeah, I was gonna ask, is there anyone who wants, for this one? Go back to.
Just the prompt in general. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's the
Yeah, the
beginning.
initial
prompt.
Oh, the beginning prompt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before they get it, yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, I want to, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
the- But which one we like versus the prompts, trying to, you know.
And we can go through it again very quickly, just to.
It's two different.
So interesting because if you like do this, if like, even if you're not blinking it, it'll get like your stuff.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah, make sure your, your choices are saved. Right.
Yeah.
Are we good for the artwork?
Everybody good with the artwork?
Okay,
Okay.
great. So we'll move on to the video. So you should see the next list of students for the video options. And these, again, same prompts, just in video form. Each of them are around 60 seconds long. And so we'll go through and watch each of them. And then if there's another one that you want to go back and watch, you can certainly go back. Okay. And they also have a prompt with it too. So I'll let you read the prompt first, and then we'll play the video.
Welcome to North Carolina, home to
Barbecue.
Sweet Tea and Pollution Monster. Dun dun dun.
Let's meet the first monster.
This is Carl, the CO2 cloud. People in North Carolina make a ton of meat from causing power plants.
Carl traps heat like a winter coat, but for the whole world.
Sorry, kinda.
Let's go meet the next monster. This is Poppy PFAS.
I'm a forever chemical. I never go away. I'm like glitter, but evil.
He swims into rivers and makes yucky algae blooms.
Forever! Oh wait, that's actually kind of bad.
Let's go meet the next monster. Meet Freddy the fertilizer.
I make plants grow, but when humans use me, swims into rivers and makes yucky algae blooms. Oops. Follow us. Oh hey.
Don't worry, kids. You can help.
Use less fertilizer, support clean water, ride bikes, save energy.
We promise to be less annoying.
That is Pollution Monsters. This is eighth grade environmental cleanup.
Imagine a perfect day in the forest, with a city far away. Animals thriving, trees breathing, and the stream running. Not a single piece of litter was seen. Then, all of a sudden, a bulldozer enters, obliterating trees and plants. Now, the stream is but wastewater. The trees are just stumps, and wildlife is struggling to survive.
Every year, millions of gallons of pollution enter North and rivers. Once beautiful forests with clear streams are now dull with
Forest, perfect forest, with the city far away. Animals thriving, trees breathing, and the stream running. Not a single piece of litter was seen. Then, all of a sudden, a bulldozer enters, obliterating trees and plants. Now, the stream is but wastewater. The trees are just stumps, and wildlife is struggling to survive.
Every year, millions of gallons of pollution enter North Carolina's streams and rivers. Once beautiful forests with clear streams are now dull with foggy, contaminated water. Some of the pollutants that are in our water can even be invisible to the naked eye, which is even grosser.
The hope of Raleigh still exists, though. One step at a time, we can fix this issue by cleaning up the litter, recovering trees, and helping animals. Eventually, animal by animal, stream by stream, tree by tree, keeping the land safe and healthy. We can help stop this catastrophe as humans.
How litter chokes our trees and our environment.
Flooding doesn't start with a storm. Sometimes it starts with us. When rain falls, every piece of litter moves with it. Storm drains don't clean water. Storm drains don't filter anything. They send water and trash straight into our rivers. So the water rises faster, higher, until a street becomes a flood. For families, it isn't just water, it's memories, it's safety. Water scientists have warned us for years. Trash makes flooding stronger, faster, and more destructive. And when the water finally moves on, it carries everything we dropped into our rivers. But a single clean drain can protect an entire city. The water will go somewhere. We decide whether it destroys or flows.
Okay, this is eighth grade, keep the seed plastic free.
Over 1 million marine animals die each year from plastic pollution. Here's an example. So this dude eating his Doritos, chilling. Oh shoot, it's in the water. No, turtle! Meanwhile, he's just chilling, taking off in his boat. Here's another example. Some cute little pufferfish enjoying his day. Oh my god, he's suffocating!
Anyways, this isn't just a funny video, it's an attempt to spread awareness. These things happen in real life. Animals are dying because we are lazy.
And no, plastics don't degrade fast. It takes many years. Here are some examples.
In addition to that,
Over 100,000 marine animals die from becoming entangled in plastic debris or discarded fishing gear every year.
You can help get rid of plastic pollution by reducing single-use plastics, improving waste management, promoting recycling, and cleanup efforts.
Keep the sea plastic free.
And then this is 12th grade, capture how to protect your watershed.
When it rains in Raleigh, the water doesn't just disappear. It flows over streets, sidewalks, and parking lots, carrying oil, trash, fertilizer, and chemicals with it.
It might seem small, but even this coffee shop connects to our watershed. When it rains, anything left on the ground, trash, spilled drinks, even chemicals, can wash into a storm drain.
And storm drains don't go to a treatment plant. They flow directly into our streams and rivers.
Polluted runoff enters our local streams and eventually enters its way into the Neuse River.
This lake isn't just a pretty view. It's a part of our watershed. Keeping places like this clean starts in our own neighborhoods.
Water pollution doesn't just affect nature, it affects all of us.
The good news? Small actions make a difference. Wash your car at a commercial car wash, not in your driveway.
Pick up litter before it reaches storm drains.
Clean water starts with us.
Protect Raleigh streams today
Because every drop matters.
Okay, so that was the last video. Everything looked good. Is there anyone that you would like to go back and watch? If not, we can move forward with the stormwater smart. Awesome, okay. So that goes to the next one. So again, this award is to be awarded to Raleigh educators who are advancing stormwater education in and outside of the classroom. So for this award, you kind of think about these voting criteria. So innovation, creative use of local environment resources and or technology, stewardship, incorporating volunteer and environmental action outside of the classroom, and then effectiveness and impact, reflecting actions that promote behavior change and the range of impact. So that's number of students, teachers, community members, et cetera. So just kind of thinking about that. There will be, this one is very heavy in like the narrative and talking about what they do. So we'll give you a chance to read that. There will also be some photos as well that you can look.
How many persons are we?
There are two.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, yep, there are two. Okay, so we can go to the first one. This is Alexandria Van Dorsen, 8th grade science at Explorers Middle School. And the themes are GSI, water quality, aquatic wildlife, and ecosystems. And this is the overall impact. And then the next one is Patrick Faulkner. And this is the agriculture teacher and FAA club lead at Legan Middle School. And themes are water quality, aquatic wildlife and ecosystems, watershed, or the water center. And this is the overall impact. Would you like to go back and look at them again, or we feel so good? Okay, so if you are good with your votes, you can go ahead and click submit, and we'll double check and make sure that they're all coming through. Yeah, online.
Cool.
Oh,
Not online, but they're coming.
okay, all right. Sure.
So all the winners in each category will receive $500 and be awarded at the Dorothy and birthday event. Sharon Smith. So excited to announce the winners there.
And the teachers will receive the same $500.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys for organizing.
Yeah, thank you so much.
As,
We appreciate
as I think we say every year, it's incredibly impressive what the students are put together. And I feel like such a slacker back in 8th grade. When I did my life.
Yeah, it's so interesting when you give them a prompt that they all make something completely different every year. So it's so cool to see. And we also had a record number of students that participated this year. So it's continuing to grow every year, which is great to see.
That's really good. And that's, I mean, seeing the folks at Explorers and Ligon and teachers, understanding some of the
the infrastructure behind this as to how this is happening. So thank you for your efforts in getting it out.
Absolutely.
We know the results.
Yes, so we are going to, we will tell the students and teacher, we won't post it until closer to Earth Day. Because this award is part of the full environmental awards program, we usually wait until, they will vote on their winners in. Oh, next week, next week. So we wait a little bit first and then we announce it probably in a couple of weeks. Yeah. We'll definitely let you guys know. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you again. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
I think we get to vote again. If that's true. You want to make a motion to end this meeting now?
Not so fast.
All right, so it does, every March, we do have election of chair, vice chair, planning commission liaison. Per the updated bylaws, the commission shall annually elect these people. So I think I guess if you guys are okay, I would like to put my name out there to be chair again, but obviously, if we want others to do that, we can vote in a way that is safe for everybody. So Wayne and I have talked about that. There's a way to do this, so we want to do that. But, and I believe I would like to nominate Nicola as vice chair. So, and Samantha as planning commission liaison. Even though you may take a little time off this year, but with exciting news. But I think it's been great. There's a lot of passion for what you're doing and a lot of connection with planning commission liaison. And it's cool to see what we're doing in that realm, so I appreciate it. Help with that. Open the floor to any conversations. I don't know how this goes. I should know, I've been doing it for years now. So do we want to make a motion on anything, or do you want to lead this?
I'd be glad to help. If are all nominations in for each of the positions?
If they are looking, sir, yes.
And if the nominations are in, I think it'd be appropriate for someone to make a motion. You could either make a motion for all three of those positions to
I'd like to make a motion for all three of them.
I'll second it. Is everybody happy to get that? Okay, all right.
Thank you for serving.
Yeah.
We didn't have a vote yet. No, vote maybe sideways.
You're willing to continue.
Okay, thank you. All in favor of the motion on the second?
What?
Say aye. Okay, Kevin?
Sorry.
Thank you all. Yeah. Okay, well, with that, off we go. The other item is April meeting. I think we have a schedule conflict, as I noted before. It's not on the agenda. It is all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, other business.
But I think we're gonna make a motion on this because we approved our calendar via a motion earlier this year. Sorry, I didn't have a conflict, but I'm out of town. Nicholas got some challenges as well. Is April 9th an opportunity 1 week later? Or should we look at, and his staff approve that date?
Yeah, we've checked that. I think April 9th is open for the transportation field services office. We're going back to where we more traditionally have met.
Okay.
That is open on April 9th as well, if you all would like to change.
We have thumbs up on April 9th?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to change it to April 9th.
Second. Okay, all in favor of April 9th? Okay, awesome. Thank you all for that change.
And you said we'll have a new commission member? Yes, we will, correct.
Yeah, you guys will coordinate that person.
Yes, I've already reached out to them. We're scheduling the.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And then preliminary topics for April and June, April through June. We talked about rainwater rewards being May, June. The One Water plan we'll have a presentation in April. We'll have the floodplain management discussion and presentation by Ben and team in April. We will get, in May, the flood early warning conversation going and presentation, since it'll be the start of hurricane season again. We'll have a conversation about, marsh flood watershed protection areas, continuing our learning about regulatory issues. And then in June, we have some other things, moving forward. So we will take a pause in July. Anything else anybody want to announce? They're going to do Creek Week and all that good stuff?
No, I just had a question.
Okay.
It's when you were talking about the different efforts moving forward. So I've got a friend that's active in AI, and I was just wondering if City of Raleigh has like some sort of task force that's looking at AI applications in cities. We don't have to get in a long discussion now, but just curious.
Yeah, IT is leading some efforts to pilot in different areas. Just the Microsoft Copilot tools is one of the areas that staff has been using. I'm sure I'm not aware of all the other areas. There is an effort with NVIDIA, who's the graphics card company, to look at using AI machine learning to review street transportation video cameras and make either traffic counts or other types of decision making related to that. And one of the stormwater related aspects of that we are starting to explore is whether we could use transportation video cameras and machine learning to have them tell us when a street is flooded. Because there's 200 video cameras or so, I believe. It's not something that practically we could watch all of those, but if we could train AI or machine learning to watch all of those cameras using a computer vision algorithm, and then let us know, that would give us effectively more sensors out in the street. We have the sensors now, right? The float sensors that light up the flashing signs and they tell us when a street is flooding in flood prone areas, but that would be an application that could really help expand our awareness and alert sensing systems out throughout the system.
Very probably the case.
Yeah, no, and lots of other applications, the potential.
Wayne, can I ask?
Yeah.
So in addition to that effort that Wayne was talking about regarding transportation buses, part of that effort that's somewhat related here is to try to identify excessive trash in places to kind of assist with collection of litter around bus shelters and that sort of thing. So trying to use that technology to help us be a bit more vigilant in cleaning that sort of thing up and trying to address it quicker and that sort of thing.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, can you say anything else here? Well, thank you for being here. So, thank you for the invite. Wayne gave my whole life story. So I don't know if I have anything else to add. I appreciate the invite. I appreciate the time. Look forward to meeting some more of you one-on-one. I'm really proud of our stormwater program and our stormwater team. Wayne and his team do a fantastic job in the area of stormwater and management and education. And I'm just really glad to be a part of that team. So I appreciate it. Anybody know, I've been trying to schedule this with Scott for quite some time. So glad I got the opportunity to come out and see it.
Thank you.
Gotta do it. Motion to adjourn. Second. All right. So all in favor of adjourning? There we go. Thank you all.